think of wild animals, and we always have this spirit about us, and some of us choose to be wild, some of us choose not to. And wild can mean many things to different people. And I just like to, I think of the Wild West because I live in the Southwest, and I think of, wild animals running free and being those free spirits. And that's kind of why I chose that name, because I think we need to let ourselves go sometimes and just open ourselves up and be who we're supposed to be. And sometimes we have to be a little wild with that, and that can mean whatever. So, so let's get started. Um, so let's just kind of take some deep breaths and hold our heart and get grounded and let go and just kind of get into the moment. And I'm going to talk about a little bit about the history of where animal spirit, animal medicine, animal totems came from. So it's back in ancient times when humans were really living off the earth and creating their villages and had to plant their own food. And so we were more in contact with our animals and the world around us. And our new world, not that it's bad or anything, some of us have kind of lost that. And I know the indigenous people and really look to the animals as allies and people who were teachers and protectors. And if you really know who your animal totem is, you can start to relate to some of the qualities that you may have that are like certain animals. Like one of my animals, we all have three, and they come with us in time when we need them, I think, if we're open to it. And one of the main one for me is the horse. And I think about the horse, and at first I was afraid of horses. And then I began, as I realized that that was one of my animal spirits. Now I have the opportunity to go horseback riding. I've created this bond, and I see how they live, and I have a lot of their qualities that sometimes I'm taking on, they carry burdens, right? And they move fast, and I'm always busy. But I feel like I'm carrying the burden of my ancestors and my family, whatever that may mean. And that's part of being my animal spirit, being a horse. And so I do carry a lot of burdens. I do carry, and it's not always a bad thing. Sometimes it can be. I have to set boundaries. But I realize that that's part of it. And I graze when I eat. That's part of my habits. I'm very protective. The horses that I am blessed to share my life with is a mare named Show Me the Money, and his mare is Sunrise. And he's so protective of her. Like when she gets out of his line of sight, I was riding him and was ahead where he couldn't see her, and she started rearing up and going backwards and kind of freaked me out. And I was like, oh my God, what's wrong with this animal? But I have those tendencies too. For the people that I love, I protect them. And if they're out of my sight, I freak out. So that's just one example of um, how I use my animal totem. And, it really is an honor to recognize the animals, and not just like horses, but there's, who would think of an ant being an animal totem, or a bat, or a turkey. And those can all be our animal spirits, but their qualities, and there's something that they can teach. There's something that they can teach you. And what can you learn from an ant? Patience, and that their community, they live for their community. That's how they strive. They'll carry burdens 3 or 4 times their weight and carry it across miles to fulfill the community. Turkey, what does a turkey do? They give without asking for anything in return. Bats, death and rebirth. But you don't think about those things, especially if you don't know those animals. So that's just a quick rundown of what, oh, I forgot the water animals, their emotions and feelings, and the whale in particular carries our ancestral, they've been around for millions of years, so they've seen the earth, and so they carry that wisdom with us, and those are things that we can learn. So if everybody's ready, I wanted to play a little bit of flute music in the background. If I can do this, I will figure it out. I don't know how long it's going to last, but it'll be kind of nice. Kind of get us in the spirit. Can you guys hear that? No, no, no. I don't know how to make it be heard. Okay. I can hear it.
Do you do you want to try holding it closer to your computer mic maybe? I'm not, are you playing it on your phone?
Yeah.
Yeah, see if you can hold it a little closer
I don't know where the mic is.
on your computer.
Mm. Oh, that's too bad.
Or
This is
turn it up really loud.
It's probably going to be close to your camera
okay.
or on one of the sides. It'll be like a little tiny pinhole.
No, still no. Aw. Okay. Well, I tried. I'll get better at this. I'll get better at this. But anyway, okay, so who's ready to delve into the animal world and find out who our animal spirit is and get in contact with nature and the universe? And another thing I wanted to bring up that's kind of important, well, important to me. We tend to think that we're these powerful beings, and we own the earth, and we're we're the superpowers of the universe. But in the whole big picture, we are just such a small part of the universe, the world. And getting close to the animals and nature kind of like puts us in our place in a way that there's all these things around us that we take for granted and don't see anymore. And this is a time to honor that and go into a sacred place so that you can be more, do more, um, get help on your journey, see things in yourself that you never saw before. So, okay, let's begin. So I want you guys to all just take a deep breath and just let it out slowly, and just let it out slowly. And I want you guys to close your eyes, because I want you guys to be in a place where you feel safe, where you feel you're in control, because this is your world. This is your world. And we're going to travel to a place where it's just an abyss of you becoming one with the universe, becoming one with the world, becoming one with the animal realm. And I want you to just let go and feel. And kind of, can you be weightless? Can you let your body go? And just kind of breathe. And I want you to think of a place, a safe place, a beautiful place, a place where you know you belong. It's your world. It's your world. Maybe a garden. Of course, it's a garden. It's beautiful. It's green. There's waterfalls and crystals and beautiful rocks. It's whatever you want it to be. That's my garden. Create your own garden and open yourself up and just feel it, and just feel it and be with it. And now just let yourself go, and you're in that sacred space, and an animal should come up to you, or there may be more than one, or you may have Be in the world where there's different animals all grazing or being together or living together side by side. And just let that animal come to you. Sometimes it may be something that we expect, maybe something different. It may be a surprise, maybe kind of scary, but just open yourself up because you're in a safe space. This is your space. You created this space. And now you can live in this space. And now you have your animal walking towards you or flying towards you or landing on your shoulder or speaking to you. Maybe it's a symbol of an animal coming to you. Now ask your animal, are you my animal totem? Are you here to give me the wisdom I need to carry on? Are you here to guide me? Do I have more animal spirits? Can you show those to me as well? Get to know your animal, whatever it may be. Get to know what it is. When I do this meditation and I meet with my horse and my bear and my snake, I always jump on my horse and we just run and run and run, and it's just so freeing. And we end up just running, and the bear is beside me, and sometimes the snake is wrapped around my neck, and we come to a beautiful river or waterfall or lake and just stop and just become one with nature. So let yourself do this as well. Frolic with your animal. Get to know your animal. What is your animal saying? And your animal may not be speaking at all. It may be showing you signs or symbols, because we're not always meant to know. Our questions aren't always answered. Life doesn't just say, it's like a math problem. You learn how to do math, but if you're always giving the answers, you never learn how to figure it out. And what's the fun in not finding your way through something? Always like it's a very different experience to climb Mount Everest than to ride a helicopter up there. And that's what I want you to experience with your animal. What is it telling you, but what is it not telling you? What is it trying to help you to learn as you grow, And when you're ready, you can let go, say goodbye, or hold on, or bring that animal into your heart, or wherever you want it to be, that you feel safe, that your animal feels safe. And still breathe and still feel it. And now you can come out of your garden. You can come out of your safe space. You'll always be in a safe space, but you can come out of there now and bring your animal with you. Or leave it there so you can come back and meet it later. Whatever you want to do. This is yours. This is your story. This is your journey. And I'm just calling the animals in nature, the insects, butterflies, dragonflies, whatever is there, the lizards, the snakes, the frogs, they all have a message. They all have this place in the universe, and they have a place in your life too. So, and when you're ready, you can open your eyes and you can come back. And I would love to hear what animal you came to you. I can't hear you.
Well, I didn't have one specific animal, even though I had one in my mind. Kind of felt like all of them. I think they're all here for me.
Jeff's just trying to tell you he is an animal.
Okay. So what animals in particular did you see or did you hear or
That's just didn't. I didn't, but I always have the wolf in the back of my head.
So okay, so you believe that you're a wolf? That the wolf is speaking to you? The lone wolf or the
Yeah.
alpha wolf or
Wolf.
okay.
This actually, you know, this postcard is from New Mexico.
Oh, there you go. Hey.
From um I don't, it says 8 of 18. I was like 16 or 17 years old.
Oh my God.
So yeah, the wolf. Sorry.
Wolf. So the wolves are, they're like a clan. They stick together and they hunt together and they're just a team. And I see you as a team player. You've been a team for me. I've always been somebody that I felt like I could come to you for help, and that would be part of the wolf spirit. Yeah, definitely. So. But you didn't say what other animals that you saw or
Well, I'm really connected to the water, so um I was thinking dolphins, you were talking whales.
which
Um,
are of the same family. And
right.
dolphins have, and if you guys don't mind, I'll see if I can find what a dolphin has to say. Because I don't know all of the animals, but I have my handy dandy. And so a poem that comes with dolphin is Dolphin, breathe with me, breathe of the divine, mama of the universe, in oneness we entwine. Now that's interesting. Dolphins speak to us of the breath of life, the only thing that humans cannot go without for more than a few minutes. Um, we can live without water and food for days, but oxygen is the source of our sustenance. And within the breath, we encounter the rhythm of energy that all life emits. And wow, isn't that interesting? Because what was everybody saying? Breathe, just breathe. And
Yes.
then you thought of a dolphin. The
Our
breath of
breath,
life.
our
That's
breath,
interesting. That's
our breath.
interesting.
Yes. Our breath is a tool. It helps us
Yeah.
regulate.
Def- yeah, definitely. Definitely. Anyone else want to share?
Who's next?
Andrea
Uh,
looks like she has something to say.
I was
yeah,
gonna say I'll
I'll
just call
share.
somebody out. Okay.
I'll share. So you did this with me before, and I was visited by a hawk. And this time, the hawk came to later, but first there was this a four-legged creature. I'm not quite sure. It was like not a cat, not a weasel, not a skunk, but like something all combined. Like it was a little bit of black and white, and
Oh,
it was
how
it was very
interesting.
furry, and it was very friendly, and it wasn't like a skunk per se, but anyway, it was interesting. So I don't know what kind of animal it was, but it
Okay.
came up and it like crawled around my neck and kind of just nuzzled up to me, and while I was sitting there, platypus, maybe no, it was too furry to be a platypus, but it was very loving and cuddly. And then the hawk came down and like sat on my knee. And then at some point, yeah, I was wondering if maybe it was a type of weasel, but I don't think so. So it was some creature that I just don't know of. And then at some point, a hummingbird came up too and kind of hung
Mm,
out with the three of us. So there were like three animals that
there
came
you go.
around. But I asked the creature if it was my totem creature, and it just kind of like, it was more like it was just there to love on me. And so I think maybe the hawk is still my totem creature,
Mhm,
but
mhm,
anyway, but
mhm.
there are some other creatures like the hummingbird and like this animal
Right.
that are there too. So anyway, it was interesting. It was very cool, and it nuzzled and loved me, and so it was like this little like loving creature that came up, which was beautiful. Rabbit. Linnea's trying to guess what the creature was. I have no idea what it was.
That is really interesting. So I'm going to assume it's the weasel, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that. Like I
Okay,
said, I have my handy dandy book.
that's
Um,
probably the closest. Yeah.
Yeah, so a weasel has an incredible amount of energy and ingenuity, yet it is a difficult power totem to have. It is not without significance that ermine or weasel pelt is worn by royalty. Weasel ears hear what is really being said. This is a great ability. Weasel eyes see beneath the surface of a situation to know that many ramifications to know the many ramifications of an event. This too is a rare gift. That is very interesting
That is
because
interesting.
I see that in you. With all the time that I have known you, yeah, you see what other people don't. You hear what other people don't. Yeah, that's very interesting. I wanted to talk a little bit about the hawk. Um, I see hawks all the time, and well, not all the time, but when I do, they usually, like one time a hawk, we parked our car, we were going for a hike, and this hawk just came out of nowhere and right in front of my car and snatched a rabbit and took off. And it was like, wow, now that's a message. And the hawks, they're up high and they have to have this keen eyesight to see. And so the hawk tells you, be very detail oriented, see the little things, those little things that we tend to forget or not see. That's usually the message of the hawk. I wanted to see hummingbird as well.
Cool.
When I find the other ones, I'll speak on them if that's okay. Anybody else want to share? Thank you, Andrea. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate you guys. Well, I didn't really do it this time because I was trying to lead you. But there's some what I'd like to talk about is, why do we feel like we have to know our spirit animal? And sometimes it helps us to face our challenges. Like, if you're going through a difficult breakup, the spirit animal that comes to mind is the lion, a symbol of courage and leadership. And through meditation and reflection, you can draw on that energy and face your emotional pain with the strength of a lion. Someone grieving loss of a loved one, it owls come to mind because they're a symbol of wisdom and spiritual presence. And an owl can help guide you through feeling supported on your healing journey. And I see Linnea said mine was a squirrel, and Robin said Pegasus and a swift bird. So what would a swift bird be? What comes to mind when you think of a swift bird? And I do have squirrel here. I'd like to talk about squirrel.
So they're actually small little birds, but they're quick.
Um, what bird are they, Kurt?
They're swifts are kind of they're not big, powerful birds like a falcon or an eagle or a hawk. They're
Uh-huh.
smaller birds, more oh, kind of like about the size of, I want to say a robin, but the robins are actually a little bit bigger.
Okay.
And swifts will gather together like in masses.
Okay.
And it's the freakiest thing in the world when they fly because they all decide to change direction at the same time.
Oh, okay. I think I know what kind of bird you're talking about.
Robin said they're fast and small.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
Yeah, but
the,
not
the,
quite hummingbirds, right?
oh no,
No.
no, no, no. They're like a finch,
Yeah,
the size
okay.
of a finch kind of thing. And I've seen fields on where they're literally all over the power lines and stuff, and they'll just take off and fly, but they'll just kind of go "Woo-choo," and then zip the opposite direction. It's really bizarre. They are really quick.
So what can you learn from that? What would that kind of bird tell you?
Trouble comes, haul ass.
Be
Ja,
quick.
ja,
Be quick.
quick like a bunny.
There you go.
And,
Okay,
and if it
so
helps, I don't visualize with my eyes shut like most people. I just see kind of like light and dark,
okay.
but I can see things with my eyes open.
Yeah, yeah,
It,
and
it's
I
it's it's
get that.
weird. And
No, not
so
really.
so I either remember a dream or I just visualize stuff when I'm thinking of it. Yeah, I just see stuff in my head.
Hmm.
But the three animals I'm always drawn to, that I've always had an affinity with: the
Hmm.
eagle, the
Okay.
wolf, and big cats like a panther or a jaguar.
Right, right. And jaguars and panthers, what is their life like? They're usually loners and they don't really travel in packs like lions, they have the
Yeah.
lion share. Panthers and jaguars are usually more lone animals. They hunt alone and they do, I don't think they usually stay with their mates very long either. They just kind of travel.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know eagles mate for life,
Yes, definitely.
but also eagles tend to they soar, but only with their mate. You don't see eagles flock.
Right.
Chickens flock, eagles do not.
There you go. There you go. And eagles,
However, wolves will gather in a pack, but
yes,
there's definitely a hierarchy and a pecking order.
right, in the wolves. And eagles represent they're a symbol of power and what's the word? They're just very esteemed, I think. That's I see them as very esteemed and um they're looked up to,
They're
eagles.
also very loyal. I think wolves also mate for life.
Yeah, yeah, I believe they do too, yes,
And it
definitely.
looks like Debbie has an affinity with monarch butterflies, which we occasionally have one come into the yard.
There you go. Um, and butterflies represent transformation because they transform. Oh my gosh, a bird just flew in my house. That is
No
crazy.
way.
Was
Yes,
it a
I had my
swift?
back door
Was it a
open so
swift?
my dog can go out. A bird just came in here. I have to see what it is. Oh my God. Where'd it go?
That's so like,
You can't make this stuff up, folks.
yeah, right?
Okay. See, okay.
That's happened to
So
me
that's
before.
another thing. Oh my gosh, I don't know where he is, but he's probably scared,
Yeah.
and I didn't get to see what
Yeah.
kind he is. I have like 3 or 4 different species in my backyard, and he flew by so fast I don't even know, but he's probably scared and hiding. Um, that is that is so crazy. But my experience with animals is so crazy because like a bird flying in and it's like okay. Um one day I want to tell a little story. One day I went on a hike with my friend and we go on some pretty intense hikes. So we always have to carry have a staff or something to help us through the rocks or whatever. And before we went for our walk, I walked out the door and I said, okay, today I'm going to see 10 butterflies. So we went walking and we stopped to catch our breath, and all of a sudden, all these butterflies just started floating around me. One landed on my cheek, and 3 or 4 of them were on my staff. And it was just the most incredible thing to feel and sense, you know? And sometimes I'll even say, where's my hummingbird? And praying mantis. I love praying mantis. They have such a healing energy. And I didn't see one this year, and he's probably hiding. He's probably here somewhere. But anyway, I I actually feel like a couple of maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, I was actually communicating with the butterfly because I go, did he just land where I think he landed? And I went out there and I said, hello. And I could see him, but he raised his arms like this when I said hello. And I was like, so how are you today? And he raised his arms again. And I was like, I think we're communicating. And it was just so weird. And, I happen to live in the mountains, and we have deer everywhere. But when a deer actually walks up to you like, hi, that's a different experience than just, oh, there's a deer. So part of this is I have opened myself up to nature and the callings. Like, I'm scared to death of snakes. This is another story. Scared to death of snakes. My daughter owns a snake now, but I have a snake in my backyard, which tells me I have a very healthy environment back there for animal life. And but when I got over my fear, and my daughter brought a snake, and it was a little garden snake, and it wrapped around me, and I looked into his eyes, and I was like, wow, you guys really get a bad rap. Like, you're really not that bad. And stop and think about, I can't say the word, the cadeus, the symbol of the medicine sign when you go to the pharmacy and it has snakes wrapped around it. Where did that come from? Why is that important? Why is that a symbol? And I don't have the answer. Maybe you guys could find the answer. But anyway, there's just so many things and symbols and things around us that we don't even realize. But do you guys have a story like that? Do you guys ever feel compelled, or with different animals? Like, okay,
I
monarchs.
did.
Yeah,
Yeah. And then Linnea was asking about the squirrel. So you
yeah.
started talking about the butterfly and the bird interrupted.
I
And the
know, but
praying
I don't
mantis
know
that once the female mates, they eat the head of the male.
of the praying mantis.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
They
know.
don't mate for actually they do mate for life. It's just life lasts just a few seconds after.
Yeah, that's like the black widows too,
That's
right?
that's kind of till death do us part, and this is yours.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so I found the squirrel. So, squirrel teaches you to plan ahead for the winter when the trees are bare and the nuts have long since disappeared. Squirrel medicine can come in many forms, as this furry creature is very diverse in nature. The erratic behavior of squirrel has bested many a forlorn hunter, and it thus stands to reason that there are benefits being able to circle a branch at lightning speed. This erratic behavior of squirrel can also get nerve-wracking if you are dealing with persons who have squirrel medicine. Trying to calm them down enough to accomplish something may drive you nuts. That is so cute. That is so cute. I don't know, what is a junco. Am I pronouncing that right? A junca?
Junko's a
Junca?
bird.
Yeah, it's a kind of
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not, maybe that's what flew in here. But birds, they're messengers. They have a message for you. We don't always know what that messenger is, what that message can be. So you have to watch for symbols or signs, or listen to your intuition. This is another thing of what I wanted to bring out in this workshop too, is that, I said at the beginning when we were doing the meditation, remember, this is a safe place. This is a sacred place, and you have to open yourself up. But part of this too is trusting your intuition, opening yourself up to new ideas, feeling different things, recognizing symbols, things that intuition doesn't always shout at you and say, "Hey, stop." It's always that little whisper that you're just like, "What was that?" And those are the ones that you have to really listen to. And that's part of this, having, you know, um, intuition and believing in yourself and believing our higher selves is always taking care of us. And those are the little whispers that we have to listen to. And that's part of this, because animal instincts, how do most animals live? It's through instinct and their intuition. And we can learn from that. Did I miss anything? I get caught up and I still don't know where that bird is.
Did you have any more about butterflies?
Right.
Yes.
You
And
know,
I wanted,
sometimes the message that the bird's dropping is that it saw you wash your car.
yeah, well, the way it's been raining around here, I'm not washing my car for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that'll definitely bring more rain in. The only thing that's growing from all this rain are my weeds. And I do have more information about butterflies. Just give me a minute.
I once saw like I was washing my dad's car and this bird just pooped on it while it was wet. It was very annoying.
Called
Yes,
target of opportunity.
they seem to know. They seem to know,
No.
right? You know that just because they can't speak does not mean that they don't have this higher. And if you really stop to listen to them, if you're close to them, I mean, our domestic animals, um, like I know I've had one dog in the past that whenever I was sad or down and out or whatever, she would always know. And she would always be sad with me, I would say. And so animals have that too. And animals are in another way that need to be respected is, or at least understood, is that they don't have an ulterior motive unless they're hungry. And they're going to attack. Dogs are loyal. Dogs are also our bridge
That's
to
what
the
was
animal world. And so you know where an animal is coming from. It's either going to hurt you or it's going to run away from you or something like that. So you don't have to. They're just their own pure
butterflies
conscious.
again.
Yes.
Unless they're cats. Cats have an ulterior motive. They're going to take over the world.
And talking about cats, which is interesting, because the animals that we now have that are domesticated, if they live out in the wild, they're just those animals. But when we start living with animals, they pick up our personalities, they pick up our traits, and that goes generational and generational. And that's why cats have many personalities. We have three cats between me and my daughter, and what my cat that looks like Garfield, he's big and fat and furry, and he's a scaredy cat. He's my only male, and he's a real scaredy cat. I mean, everything frightens him. We have another cat that's a calico, and she's just like everywhere. And then my black cat is like, I'll come to you when I want attention. So, they have their own personalities, but in the wild, do they? And how do we know? And how can we learn from that? What message can they give us? So,
Yeah,
we
do
were
you
talking
have
about. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, go ahead and do the butterfly and then
Okay.
come back to me. Come back to me.
So the power that butterfly brings to us is akin to the air. It is the mind and the ability to know the mind or to change it. It is the art of transformation. To use butterfly medicine, you must astutely observe your position in the cycle of self-transformation. Like butterfly, you are always at a certain station in your life activities. You may be at the egg stage, which is the beginning of all things, This is the stage at which an idea is born, but has not yet become a reality. The larva stage is at the point at which you decide to create the idea in the physical world. The cocoon stage involves going within, developing or doing your project, idea or aspect of your personality. And the final stage of transformation is the leaving of the chrysalis and birth. The last step involves sharing the colors and joy of your creation with the world. So the different stages of life, that's very interesting.
That's really cool.
Right.
That's obviously why our transformation program, we put a butterfly on the cover.
Yeah, isn't that,
Yeah,
yeah,
that makes sense.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Perfect, perfect.
So I have a question. Do you have info on cats? Because we don't own a cat, but we have a cat that visits us. This is a neighborhood cat. And he lives, I think, about 2 blocks away, but he comes around all the time. He's a roamer, but
Really?
he's very clean, he's very furry, he's very beautiful, and he has the most gorgeous green, light green eyes I've ever seen in an
Yeah.
animal. And I know he used to be a human. He is just so friendly and so like I'm like, he had to have been like a Frank Sinatra type of person in his life, very like charming and like just, ultra friendly and could charm anyone. He's this really
Right.
cool cat, but he visited us yesterday for like an hour. We hung out with him.
Oh,
He's just
wow.
so cute.
Wow. That is awesome. I don't have anything per se as a cat, but I'm looking for the cat family because I know I have lions and stuff in here, maybe. But what I will do is I will definitely look into that and post something in Telegram for you guys because that's way cool. It is kind of funny how some animals just gravitate to you. It'll be like, and then me, I'm such an animal lover. I expect all animals to just come to me or like me. And when they don't, I'm like, "Ah, but I'm an animal lover. You're supposed to like me." But they have their own little people.
Yeah, you have to respect animals for what they are too. It's like
Right.
people think, oh, look, it's a teddy bear until it eats them.
Yeah,
So true.
Nature is not a cartoon.
No.
yeah,
Yeah,
No.
we
Robert.
yesterday when we got home, we had a doe and 2 fawns in our front yard.
And see,
So
and deer just represent gentleness and kindness and
yeah,
just,
actually, the fun animals are we've got a family of ravens that lives in our yard.
yeah.
They're interesting.
There really is something to the art of bird watching. Because like I was telling you, I have so many different birds in my yard. And I have some that have blue wings, that are brown, have blue wings, some that are small and have a red chest and red and brown feathers, yellow birds. I'm sure they're all finches and stuff. And then I have one that's black with it reminds me of bagels that have the sprinkles on them. What are they called?
Everything
Everything
bagel.
bagels.
Yeah. And that's kind of what he reminds me of. And
It's either that or you're thinking of sugar sprinkles, and those are donuts, Deb.
okay, there you go. That I'll take that. So yeah, and anyway, I have all different kinds of birds out there, and to watch them is really, really interesting. Like we have a lot of ravens here, and I have bird nests. And the bird nests, one year, the ravens were trying to get the baby birds. And there was a lot of squawking and stuff going on in my backyard. And I was like, what's going on? And I could see the mom and dad, and they were like, you could just see they were just like I could see it in the environment, like they were wringing their hands, like, how do we save our babies? And the mother managed to get one or two of them away, but the raven actually ended up getting one of them. And you could just see how worried they were, the mom and dad, and you could see the raven just like playing with it. And it was just like, oh my gosh, that's so crazy. And it was, but that's the animal world. And it was really sad to see. It broke my heart. And I was like, oh my gosh. But that's the animal world. And yeah, but they just do really, I don't know, I can't explain some of the things they're just very interesting. I get why people like to watch animals, like to bird watch. So I found something on links. Did you guys want to hear what the links is? They're related to cats. It is said that if you want to find out a secret, ask lynx medicine. Unfortunately, it is difficult to get the silent lynx to speak. To be confronted by the powerful medicine of lynx signifies that you do not know something about yourself or others. I'm not sure that really applies to cats. But maybe it does. Maybe it does. Cats are mysterious, you know?
They are very mysterious.
Yeah, you never know what they're thinking.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, they have their own little personalities and stuff too. So
You cannot control a cat. They do whatever they want.
exactly. I have to step away for a minute. My computer's gonna die. Let me grab my cord. Sorry, you guys. Talk among yourselves.
Did anybody else want to say what their animal was? I think most of us have, but a few have not. If you want to type it in the chat or speak up.
Okay, fine. Mine was a dolphin. I don't know because I spent so much time on the water, I think.
Very
Were you
cool.
on boats?
I was a search and rescue swimmer and on boats, yes. So I spent a lot of time in the water with dolphins and sharks, but I didn't have a shark come really to my thoughts, but a dolphin for sure.
I'm
That's
sorry.
cool.
I didn't hear that. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Get your computer plugged in and
Okay.
we'll
Okay, I'm ready.
So Jason said he had a dolphin.
Oh, those are because I'm a Pisces and so I'm a water creature. I'm drawn to the water and you know, you don't think of animals in the water as having intelligence or emotion or anyway, I don't. You know, you don't think about it, I guess, because unless you interact with them, you know, you tend to like they're just kind of there or whatever. But like I was saying before about dolphins, you know, they're the breath, they speak to the breath of life, and because they can go in and out of the water and have breath or not.
Yeah,
So
Yeah, one of my dolphin experiences was on a small little ridge they call ribs. They're rigid hull inflatable boats. They're kind of a Kodiak type style boat, and we were in the middle of the northern Arabian Gulf taking over a ship. And we're about ready. We had to be focused and about ready to possibly get in a hostile territory. And these dolphins come up and they are literally off the bow of our, like, I could have reached out and touched them.
oh my God.
And so we were trying to stay focused and we had our commanding, our senior master chief yelling at us to stay focused. We're about ready to board this ship. And a lot of us were really hyper focused on the dolphins and had to get back into focus. So that was a pretty funny moment.
Yeah, we used to do swim call whenever the dolphins are around because they'd protect us from the sharks.
Yes. Yeah.
Really?
Yep. We had the same thing. Yeah.
Do you think the dolphins were trying to tell you something?
No, dolphins have an affinity for people. They really do.
Yeah.
I'd
Oh,
see them
okay.
surfing sometimes too.
Right.
Really?
Yeah, they will protect us.
Yeah.
You know, I've never seen a dolphin in the wild, but when we were in
It's you haven't lived to see it.
Well, she's still got a lot of living to do.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Linnea?
What were you saying?
Well, when we were in Hawaii, I got to like interact with a dolphin, but it was in the wild, but it was still really cool.
They
Yeah,
are.
apparently that it can be a blast. My wife was on a trip to Australia, oh, I don't know, 40 years ago. And she went out. There's an area out there where you can be out where the dolphins are swimming. You can't have sunscreen or anything on, which means it's one day you will get sunburned. But they swim wild and you're not allowed to touch them. You just go out and you stand in the water and they'll swim around you. And she
Oh,
had
really?
she had a dolphin calf, so a baby that
Right.
was swimming in between her legs and stuff and running around her. And the person doing the tour, because there were a lot of Japanese visitors and stuff, and they're all trying to touch the dolphin. You're not supposed to touch them. You're just supposed to stand there and let that so you can see them and let them go around. And they were all swimming around her and not them. Who knows why? I don't know, but for some reason this little cat picked her, and the tour guide says, "Do you want me to hold anything?" She says, "No, just if I fall, grab my camera." And but she says she couldn't stop giggling for the rest of the day.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
That's so cute. To Sue's point about Jason's experience, maybe the dolphins were there to let you guys know to don't not be so like stressed and hyper focused, and that would help you do your job a little better. Maybe
Right. Yeah,
have a little more lightheartedness with it, and I don't know, maybe they were there to protect you. Who knows? But yeah,
Yeah,
dolphins are pretty cool.
I agree. The same thing what Kurt said. I've seen them many times when you're surfing, and I always felt it made me feel more comfortable. Even though we've been a search and rescue swimmer, we got to swim with the sharks a lot too. But it made me feel comfortable in a way to see the dolphins while I was on the surfboard as well. But I've
Oh,
seen both
wow.
in the water surfing, and I never really was bothered by them. There's it's just always that chance you do in the back of your head. You're trying to think about it, but
Right.
Yeah, there's a quick moment when you look and see, is it a sharp edged fin or a rounded fin?
yeah, yeah.
That is awesome. So this your stories and the things we have talked about just says this is the essence of the animal world and the animals that we relate to and the animals that we feel the closest to, how they have all, thank you, Andrea, how they have all just how they influence our life. I see a deer and it puts a smile on my face. I see elk and I'm like, oh, because you see them so rarely, and I'm like, oh, there's an elk. Ravens, a hawk. I see those all the time. Hawks, but when I see a hawk, I'm like, oh, it's just so you can just the wingspan and the color of the wings underneath that are just so beautiful. And I haven't seen a mountain lion. But I've always loved cats, and I always thought uh, my animal totem was a panther or something like that. I always saw myself as that. So when I did my own journey to find my animal spirit, um, first of all these words came, horse, horse, horse. And I was like, not a horse, not a horse. I don't want to be a horse. And then all of a sudden, just out of the meadow, here comes this beautiful brown horse and nudges me on the forehead with his nose and like, too bad, girl, you're a horse. And so that's what I was saying. You get these surprises because that's the last thing I thought I was a horse. But I didn't respect him the way I do now. I didn't understand him the way I do now because actually, I was riding one and he didn't like me very well. He knew I was scared of him. And I jumped off of him to kind of like have a break. And he put his hoof on top of my foot and I could not get it off for nothing. He was just messing with me The whole time I was like, I stood there for like about 3 or 4 minutes. Finally, I said, okay, I give. When you give up, when you feel like you can let my foot go, I guess I'm at your mercy. He finally let me go, and I could just see it in his eyes, like, yeah, I got you. Got on the horse. We start heading back, and no shit, I'm sorry, but that horse, he just took off in this gallop, and I just had to hold on for dear life. And then as soon as we got to where we were supposed to be, he just stopped, and I was like, done with horses. And now my animal spirit is a horse. Isn't that crazy?
That's awesome.
So, yeah, you know, we forget about these little things that the animals can bring to us, you know, the joy and a memorable story or something we can share with somebody. And how often do we do that? And how often, you know, do we really remember or take the time to look at a butterfly? Or, you know, I remember growing up, we would see thousands of butterflies, you know, and they were always, you know, whirling around each other, doing the butterfly dance. And I haven't seen that in years. A couple of weeks ago, I saw two butterflies that are, I'm not sure what they're called. They're yellow with black, but they're not monarchs. And two of them, and it's rare for me to see two other than unless I'm really high in the mountains. And they did that butterfly dance, and then they each went their separate ways. And I haven't seen that in so long. And it's just, you know, something that we need to understand and take care of, and realize we're guardians of planet Earth, and we need to take care of our animal counterparts.
You
And
know what you do know what the pig asked the horse, right?
no.
Why the long face?
Oh boy. Hey Deb, I did plug the guide link and the workbook link into the chat. Did you want to explain what those are?
So I created a workbook that kind of just goes over what animal came to you, what your feelings were with it, and then I just put some information out there about like the winged animals, the grounded animals, the water animals, and things like that, and gave you a little bit more background of what they are, and you know, just something to play with and have fun with, and just kind of learn more about our animal counterparts, and maybe understand them better or get to know them better, and maybe find out who your animal guides are and how they can help you throughout your journey. What can they do for you? What message do they have for you? Because they really do walk beside us if you really stop and think about it. Their essence is everywhere. Um, if you choose to become one with the universe and nature. So, and they're here to help us if we so choose to ask for their help. We can learn a lot from them.
Thank
So,
you, Deb. I've learned a lot from you over the years about that. And whenever I have some sort of an encounter like the cat, or I think I mentioned a while back, a hummingbird came and buzzed in front of my face for 20, 30 seconds a couple weeks
right,
ago. Um, I always like stop and think, like I try to think, like, you know, what's the message there, or what's the connection there? So
right.
thank you for bringing this to us in a bigger way this time too. I appreciate it.
Thanks, you guys. I had a lot of fun doing this. I was really nervous about doing it. As usual, I just get nervous because, you know, it's a big deal and it means a lot to me. And I do have so much information, and I tend to go off on tangents, and then a bird flies in my house. And it's like, okay. And birds are messengers. They do have not sure what he has to say, but they are messengers. They do have something to say, and um we may not pick that up all the time, but then something might happen and be like, oh, now I know what that means, you know. And just being open and recognizing, and yeah.
And sometimes maybe just enough to make us stop and become a little more aware of what we're doing or what's going on in the moment.
Yeah, or maybe just stopping to smell the roses.
Yeah.
Maybe just stop and smell the roses. Maybe just, you know, connect with that animal for 30, 40 seconds, like the hummingbird. Did we talk about the hummingbird?
I don't recall.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think we did.
if we have a few minutes, I have something about the hummingbird.
Sure.
Okay, so the hummingbird is associated with the ghost shirt religion, which taught that a certain dance done properly would bring the return of the animals and that people would disappear. Negative people would disappear. Once again, the original people would know the joy of the old ways. In Mayan teaching, hummingbird is connected to the black sun in the fifth world. Hummingbird can give us the medicine to solve the riddle of the contradiction of duality. Wow.
Deep.
Wow, that's interesting.
That's very interesting. That kind of struck a chord in me because our lives are so ironic, and there is that duality of one extreme to the other, and everything in between and how we feel that. So that was interesting. I didn't realize. I know some people might not believe this, and I'm glad my son is not here. He was here for a minute. I go, did we bore you? Anyway, my son who passed, I believe that he came back as a hummingbird. And the other day there was a hummingbird like knocking on my glass window to my back door, and I was like, oh, there's Joey. You know, it's just yeah, recognizing things. And
You do know hummingbird is the one bird an eagle won't mess with?
really, I did not know
Yeah.
that.
That's right.
Wow.
Because they can go so fast, a hummingbird can stop in mid-flight and actually poke the eye out of an eagle.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah,
wow.
that's very interesting.
So
Yeah.
eagle's like, yeah, no.
Beautiful
Interesting.
story
Very
about your son
interesting.
too, Deb. Yeah, that's
Thank
great.
you. Yeah, I really believe that. It's just because I I know it sounds crazy, but I really have a gift. I really believe I speak to the animals, and I'm becoming more and more a part of my life, especially now living up here in the mountains the way I do. They're just everywhere, you know, and so I don't miss living in the big cities, but I do miss living in a big city, if you know what I mean. Like, I would like to have pizza delivered once in a while.
Right.
That's why I live where I do. I'm in the
Yeah,
middle of the
so
forest. I got 3 acres of trees around me that we left raw, and I'm 3.5 miles from the shopping centers.
now see,
Nice.
that would be perfect. But anyway, this is
So you saying we should start calling you Dr. Deb Little?
yeah,
Dr. Deb Little.
yeah,
Dr.
I'll
Doolittle.
take that. I'm not that great, but I'm working on it. So thanks, you guys. This was awesome. I hope you guys had fun. I had fun. I know sometimes I go off on tangents and stuff, but I was like, there's so much information I want to give you guys, and just, you know, this is me. This is who I am. I'm just this nature lover, animal person, whatever. Intuitive.
Thank you, Deb. It's been
Thank
amazing.
you.
Thanks. And thanks
Awesome
for all your
stuff.
support and understanding. I didn't hear from Sue or Heather. I hope you guys are doing good and got something out of this too.
I am. I was busy typing it. I came on late, but I was busy typing in the chat. I could relate to the dolphins. I could relate to the cats. Yes, 2 days ago, my mom and I were walking, and a cat just wouldn't stop following us. It's a kitten. It was a small, like it wanted to come home with us. But anyway, and I had to I was sad because I had to say, you have to stop. You can't, you have to go. You can't, I can't keep you. So don't follow me. And I was sad. So I could
Yeah.
relate to the dolphins. We have dolphins in Jamaica, you know, as for tourism. I could relate to the hummingbird. That's a national bird of Jamaica. Type this
Oh,
in the chat.
wow.
The
I didn't know
butterfly,
that.
we have a butterfly season when we see a
Right.
lot of, and they follow a lot of yellow butterflies and they follow a particular tree. So the little like heart was very interesting.
Wow. See that, yeah. I would love to see all those butterflies. When I go to Oregon, they have a butterfly place. Whether you walk in and there's nothing but butterflies, and when you come out, you have to brush them off of you before you can actually go all the way out. That and I love that. I'm just so glad that we have things like that. So yeah, butterflies, yeah, they're just such an integral part of our ecosystem, and they're beautiful. So
Indeed.
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Deb, I wanted to make sure you saw the chat before we jump off. A lot of thank yous, and Robin said this meeting was very helpful and interesting, and I think probably we all echo that sentiment.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for going on this journey and trusting me enough to allow yourself to close your eyes. Sometimes that's not always easy to do. But you guys felt safe enough, and I wanted you to do that. And I wanted you to meet your animal totem and enjoy your animal totem and play with your animal totem and just have fun and enjoy and open yourself up to the world, to the nature, to the universe. And that to me is what's important. Becoming one with the universe and everything around us. And I love all this. You guys are awesome. I get hearts and clapping hands and all that cool stuff. Thank you. You guys can make me cry. You guys are awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Deb.
Love you guys. Bye.